There's a story from a wildlife sanctuary in Thailand. An elefante named Boon Thong was dying. She was old, her body failing, and everyone at the sanctuary knew it was only a matter of days. What they didn't expect was what she did next. Boon Thong stopped eating. Not because she couldn't, she just refused. She walked away from the herd, slowly, deliberately, to a quiet spot under a tree. And there she stood, barely moving, just waiting. Her caretaker, a woman who'd known her for years, stayed with her. She sang to her. Boon Thong leaned her head against the woman's shoulder and closed her eyes. 3 hours later, she was gone. The caretaker said afterward that Boon Thong knew that she'd made a choice, that she'd picked her place, her time, and the person she wanted with her. But here's the question that keeps researchers up at night. Did she actually know? Or are we just projecting human awareness onto animal behavior we don't fully understand? Because if animals know when they're dying, that changes everything. Let's start with what we can observe. Animals, when they're close to death, often change their behavior in specific, measurable ways. They stop eating. They withdraw from social groups. They seek out quiet, secluded places. In some species, they seem to say goodbye. Elephants do this. Chimps do it. Dogs do it. Cats famously disappear when they're dying, hiding in places their owners can't find them. The question is why? The traditional scientific explanation is that these are survival instincts, not conscious awareness of death. A sick animal withdraws to avoid attracting predators. It stops eating because its body is shutting down and digestion becomes painful. It hides because vulnerability is dangerous. All of that is true, but it doesn't explain everything, because there are cases where the behavior goes beyond instinct, where it looks, for all the world, like preparation. In 2016, researchers documented a chimpanzee named Pansy in a Scottish safari park. Pansy was dying. Her daughter and other group members gathered around her. They groomed her gently. They stayed close. When she finally died, they sat with the body. They touched her face. They didn't leave for hours. One chimp, an older female named Rosie, returned to the body repeatedly over several days. She'd sit beside it, silent, then walk away, then come back. That's not avoiding predators. That's something else. Dolphins show similar behavior. When a pod member is dying, others will support it at the surface, helping it breathe, even after death. Some dolphins have been observed carrying the body for days, refusing to let it sink. Crows hold what researchers call funerals. When a crow dies, other crows gather around the body, te kalaut. They don't scavenge it. They seem to be learning, remembering, cataloging the location as dangerous. But some researchers think it's more than that, because the crows don't just avoid the area, they change their behavior around other crows who were present at the death. Like they remember who was there, like it meant something. Here's where it gets harder to explain away as pure instinct. There's a documented case of a cat named Oscar in a nursing home in Rhode Island. Oscar would curl up next to patients in their final hours. Not random patients, only the ones who were about to die. The staff started using Oscar as an informal alert system. When Oscar settled onto someone's bed and wouldn't leave, they'd call the family. Oscar attended over 100 deaths with near-perfect accuracy. He wasn't detecting illness in general. Many patients in the home were ill. He was detecting something specific to the dying process. Changes in metabolism, scent, body temperature, things that happen in the final hours. But here's the question. Did Oscar understand what those signals meant? When he curled up next to someone, was he thinking, this person is dying? Or was he just responding to a biological cue his brain had learned to associate with stillness, quiet, warmth? The difference matters, because one is pattern recognition, the other is comprehension. Then there are the animals who seem to plan. Wild elephants have been observed traveling to specific locations when they're old or sick. Not random places, specific areas with softer ground, water sources, shade. Elephant graveyards aren't a myth. They're just not what we imagined. Elephants don't go there to die ceremonially. They go there because when you're old and your body is failing, You need easy terrain, accessible water, and cover from the sun. But they choose to go. That's the part that's hard to ignore. A healthy elephant doesn't go to those places. Only the dying ones do, which means somewhere in their brain, they're recognizing that their body is failing and making decisions based on that recognition. Is that the same as knowing you're going to die? Maybe not. But it's close. Dogs do something that breaks the clinical explanation entirely. There are hundreds of accounts of dogs who, in their final days, seek out their owners in ways they hadn't in years. A dog that's been independent suddenly won't leave your side. A dog that's been distant becomes affectionate. They're not in pain yet. They're not immobile, but something shifts. They want proximity. They want contact. One interpretation, they're seeking comfort because they feel unwell. Another interpretation, they're saying goodbye. We can't prove the second one. But we can't disprove it either, because the behavior isn't random. It's consistent, and it happens before the physical collapse, not after. Here's the uncomfortable truth. We know animals can recognize death in others. Elephants inspect bones. Chimps sit with bones. Magpies bring grass to lay beside dead companions. So if they can recognize death externally, why couldn't they recognize it internally? When your body is failing, you feel it. You know something is wrong. Humans know. Why would animals be different? The question isn't whether they feel their body shutting down. The question is whether they understand what that means. And maybe understanding isn't the right word. Maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe they just know that something is ending. That the patterns they've lived by are breaking down. That the world is becoming smaller, quieter, slower. And maybe, in their own way, they prepare. Boon Thong walked away from the herd. She stopped eating. She chose her spot. She leaned into the person she trusted most. Was that instinct? Or was it choice? The answer probably depends on how you define awareness. If awareness means thinking, I am going to die, then maybe not. But if awareness means feeling the end coming and responding to it, seeking comfort, choosing your final moments with whatever agency you have left, then yes, they know. Not the way we know. Not with words or concepts or fear of oblivion. But they know something is happening. And they act accordingly. And in the end, maybe that's enough.